My neighbors treated my pool like a public park, so I turned their entitled teenagers into walking Smurfs. I pulled into my driveway and saw two figures walking down the sidewalk that looked like they had just escaped from a cartoon explosion at a paint factory. They were glowing. I'm talking a deep, radioactive cobalt blue from their foreheads down to their ankles, highlighting every bit of skin that their swim trunks didn't cover. One of them was trying to hide under a towel like a low-budget superhero, and the other was scrubbing at his arm so hard I thought he'd peel the skin off. I sat in my truck, engine idling, watching them shamble toward the house next door, and for the first time in 3 months, the knot of rage in my chest loosened. I didn't just smile, I let out a dark, satisfied laugh that rattled the cab of my pickup. They weren't just stained, they were branded. To understand why I turned my neighbors' kids into human blueberries, you have to understand the absolute hell I've been living in since May. I'm a simple guy. I work hard, I keep to myself, and my one luxury, the one thing I drained my savings account for, is my backyard pool. It's not an Olympic stadium, but it's mine. I put in the pavers myself. I built the deck with my own hands over 3 blistering weekends. It's my sanctuary, or at least, it was supposed to be. The problem started the week I opened the pool for the season. I came home from a 10-hour shift at the plant, walked out back with a cold beer, and froze. The pool cover was half off. The skimmer basket was upside down on the concrete, and floating right in the middle of the deep end was a red Solo cup. I live alone. I don't drink from red Solo cups. I checked my cameras. I had a cheap, motion-activated one pointed at the back door, but it didn't cover the whole yard, and saw nothing but a few blurry shadows near the fence lying around 3 p.m. I figured maybe the wind blew some trash over. I let it slide. 3 days later, I came home to find the gate unlatched. Not just unlatched, but swinging in the breeze. I walked to the pool and saw wet footprints leading from the water to the fence that separates my property from the neighbors, the Millers. The Millers are the kind of people who think the world exists to serve them. Their lawn is immaculate, their cars are leased, and their 2 teenage sons, let's call them Kyle and Brad, have never been told no in their entire lives. I didn't go to the police. I didn't scream. I walked next door and rang the bell. Brenda, the mom, answered. She's got that look, hairsprayed within an inch of its life, a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Hey, Oliver, she said, blocking the doorway. Everything okay? Not really, Brenda, I said, keeping my voice level. I found wet footprints leading from my pool to your fence, and my gate was left open. I need you to talk to Kyle and Brad. My pool isn't public property. She laughed. She actually laughed, a high-pitched, dismissive sound that grated on my nerves. Oh, Oliver, relax. The boys were just hot. It's a heat wave, you know? They just took a quick dip. Kids being kids. Don't be such a curmudgeon. I'm not being a curmudgeon, I said, stepping closer. It's a liability. If they slip and crack their heads open while I'm at work, that's on me. They are not allowed in my pool. Period. She rolled her eyes. Fine, I'll mention it, but honestly, you're never even using it during the day. It seems selfish to let it sit there empty. She closed the door in my face. That was the moment the war started. I wasn't dealing with bad neighbors. I was dealing with entitled squatters who viewed my property as an extension of their own. I spent the next weekend fortifying. I spent $2,000 I didn't really want to spend on a higher fence. I put up no trespassing signs that were bright orange and impossible to miss. I bought heavy-duty padlocks for the gate. I thought that would be the end of it. Physical barriers usually work on rational people. 2 weeks later, I got a text from my other neighbor, Mrs. Higgins, an elderly lady who sees everything. Oliver, dear, there are 4 boys in your backyard. They climbed the new fence. I left work early. My boss wasn't happy, but I was seeing red. When I pulled up, I heard the splashing from the street. I stormed through the side gate, which they had hopped over, and found Kyle, Brad, and 2 random friends doing cannonballs. Beer cans were lined up on my deck railing. My custom pool floaty had a cigarette burn in it. Get out! I roared. Get the hell out! They scrambled. They didn't even look scared, just annoyed that their party was over. As they climbed back over the fence, Brad looked back and smirked. Chill out, old man. Water's free. He thought the water was free, but he was about to pay a price that soap couldn't wash off. I was about to turn his skin into a chemical experiment that would have his mother screaming lawsuit and the police trying not to laugh. But the ultimate revenge? He has a mandatory government ID appointment at 9 a.m. tomorrow that he absolutely cannot miss. Let's see how he explains looking like a radioactive blueberry to the DMV. For full version follow on screen instructions.